I thought that she would never change. I thought that she would never have, you know, any real accountability for the things that she did, the way that she raised us. What's going on, people? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different. As you can see by the title and the thumbnail, today we're talking about the power of forgiveness and how it's really helped me. It's really helped me find closure in a lot of things, especially things that happen like in childhood. And I think that the vast majority of people do have some type of childhood trauma, whether that be from, an experience that happened in the family or an experience that happened outside the family. I'm willing to bet that a lot of people have this. And in my case, a lot of my personal childhood trauma comes from my mom. And I'm not here to air anything out or give specific details, but just know that a lot of bad things happened between me and my mom, and because of that, I haven't spoken to her in over a decade. It's been that long. It's crazy, right? But before we get into this story, before we continue, I need you guys to do me a favor. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, and make sure you check out my catalog of content. I got a lot of stuff on here, and maybe you'll find something that interests you. Let's get into it. So to give this context, I need to go back to June of this year to my first ayahuasca experience. And in that experience, I thought a lot of the pain that I had in my life, I thought a lot of my anger was directed at my stepdad because, he was not a good person, you know what I mean? And in actuality, none of that pain or none of that anger, none of that frustration was from him. It was all from my mom. As I'm going through the experience, I got to experience the things that my mom went through in her childhood. And then I was like, fuck. So like at that level, I had understanding of like what she'd been through and like what she had witnessed as a young girl, growing up with my grandparents. So even after that experience, when I came back, I still had a hard time trying to forgive her. And the reason for that is this. If I fully forgave her for everything that happened, then I would have no one else to blame, because for so long I had made her the villain that I was just very comfortable with her being in that role, and I was okay with that. But my spirit, my soul was not okay with that. So I really had to forgive her. And the interesting thing about ayahuasca is, it's like, even though you do it like that one time or whatever, it's still like working within you. And I knew like in that ayahuasca experience that I had to forgive her. Like that was the message that I got. But I was ignoring that message. Like a lot of times we do. We ignore things, we ignore signs. And I was just like, you know what? She did what she did. She's wrong. I was a child. I'm right. And I was just willing to leave it at that. I was just like, I understand like what she went through. I get it. But I wasn't ready to fully forgive her. So what started happening was I would have dreams about like my childhood. I would have dreams about the house that I grew up in. I would relive certain moments of my childhood in my dreams, although the situations would be a little bit different. However, the feeling and the emotions would be exactly the same. And the longer that I ignored this, the more intense and profound these dreams would become. So it got to a point to where I was like, fuck man, I don't even want to go to sleep tonight because I already know what I'm going to dream about. And so, I had to really open up that line of communication to, have that dialogue. And doing that surprised me because for a long time, I thought that she would never change. I thought that she would never have, any real accountability for the things that she did, the way that she raised us. I never thought that I would hear from her own mouth that she was sorry. And if she could go back, that she would change everything, literally change everything, that she would do right by us, and that she realized that she's made a huge mistake in her life. And hearing that like floored me. And I didn't go into like the conversation with anger or anything like that. I think the ayahuasca really like mellowed me out. to a point to where my sister, beforehand and during, was asking me if I'm okay, was asking me if, how I'm doing, what I'm thinking, because she knows that if I'm upset about something, and especially if I'm right, I'm not going to hold anything back. I can be very vicious with my words if I want to be. And she thought that I was going to give that to her. But what wound up happening was I was very opening to hearing from her own mouth what she had went through in her childhood. And I told her, like, yeah, I saw all that stuff in my ayahuasca. Like, I know what you've been through, like I understand it. I can't be mad at her for not knowing what she didn't know, ultimately. So I had to let her know, it's like, hey, I forgive you, like all this stuff. I don't take it personally anymore. And I had to let her know that she is my mom. Like, I do love her. It was just, I felt like I missed out on a lot of things, on a lot of opportunities in my childhood just because of what was happening. And that's why I felt that it was unfair, because, I felt like I was behind the curve of my peers when I should have been like either on par with them or ahead of them, because I realized I had the kind of potential in myself. And, we talked about some other stuff, but, the reason I'm making this video is because, in the Black community, there is a lot of trauma, and a lot of that trauma starts in the household. And I think that this is where we need to start trying to have these difficult conversations. We need to have these kind of open dialogues to where we can begin to like really heal, because if we don't, like, we already know, like, outside of the culture, other people like to keep us in cycles of pain and trauma because it really suppresses us. And through the conversation that I had with my mom, I realized something, that pain is an anchor. And, and I realized, like, damn, I've been dragging this with me throughout my entire adult life. I had been dragging this and wondering why, relationships with friends, with women, work relationships, why I just couldn't, get to that next level, and this is unique to me. It's because I wasn't willing to let that pain go. I wasn't really allowing myself to be free from that. And I think freeing yourself from all these things, I think, is one of the most important things, so that you can receive more. Because, like, it doesn't matter if I'm trying to word this in a way to where it doesn't sound like I'm being one of those pseudo spiritual people that's just making up like random bullshit. But it's like, you have to be able to recognize that when you're carrying pain, like so much of it, it's very hard to receive good things, because you're basically in a low state, right? You're in a state that doesn't allow you to perceive good. It doesn't allow you to receive good, and it really doesn't allow you to be good. I know, like, what I want for myself, like, moving forward. I know I want to have a family. And one of the things that I've told myself, like, pretty much my entire life, was like, in the event that I do have children, a family, this and that, I don't want these things to affect my family. I don't want this to affect the people that I have relationships with. So it was important for me to go ahead, have this conversation, open up this dialogue, and start this process of healing. And doing that, I released myself from these anchors, and I could literally feel like the good energy in my body just like rising. It was almost like I got high, like just off of that alone. And this conversation happened yesterday, and today, like, I just woke up with more energy. I didn't have like any real like anxiety or anything like that. I was just more confident and more secure in who I am, just because I know that I I did the right thing by going ahead and giving love, because not in a woke way, right? Not in this fake woke way, but our love is our greatest strength, right? And if we can give that, especially in difficult times, it's more powerful than spreading hate or carrying pain. Like I said, like for the Black community especially, I think this is like very important, and I think that we're in a time right now to where we could really do that. Like now is the time for this stuff. Now is the time to come together and really heal, because from my perspective, I think the reason the culture is so divided is because we have so much pain and so much trauma from the people that are closest to us. And this is one of the things that I had in my early 20s and all this stuff. I had a hard time trusting people, because I was like, if my mom can do this shit to me, it's like, what's a stranger gonna do? Somebody that doesn't even know me, really, someone that has to take time to get to know me. Are they going to do what my family did? Those were some of the questions, and some of the thoughts that I would have, because when you don't experience good, right? When you don't experience a lot of good things growing up, it's hard to perceive good, like I said. But now that I'm in this situation to where I have forgiven, I have let go, and now that I'm healed, I know that from here on out, it's only going to be good stuff. Will there be some things to overcome and all this stuff? Of course, because that's life. I think that life is a constant transmutation of pain, but I don't think that we should be experiencing pain at the levels that we do. I just think there is an excess of pain in the Black community, and I think that it needs to be, we need to turn that over into something better, for ourselves and for our families. And then once we do that, we can come together as a community and really figure out the direction that we want to go. I just recommend us going through this time to make sure that as a people that we can really heal, and you can really heal yourself to become the version of the individual that you ultimately want to be in your life. And you don't have to carry these anchors around. Yeah, I just think it's, now that looking at it, I find it to be completely ridiculous that I was doing that, but I was doing it. And yeah, man, that's really all I have for this video. And if you guys have liked this video, do me a favor, like I said, like, comment, subscribe. I make this for free. You guys can just watch it, like it, subscribe to the channel. We'll call it even, man. And if you guys like this content, if you guys want me to put those other ayahuasca videos back on the channel, I will do that. Just comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.